Welcome to the Fantasy Football Lab.
Welcome into the Fantasy Football Lab. I'm Arlen. This is Nate. How you doing, Nate?
Doing good, man. It's getting through the preseason. I just wrapped my first draft of the season. Sorry I do a league without you, but it's an old school grandfathered in league. What can I tell you? But spent those 2.5 hours on a Sunday in the draft. So I'm feeling good.
What's your team looking like?
Pretty good, dude. I pulled it like all of my favorite things. Pulled off a in-draft trade at the start of a keeper league. I had the 9th pick overall.
That's cool.
But was able to trade for the 3rd pick overall. We swapped 1st and 2nd rounders. I ended up with Jamar Chase and Malik Neighbors to kick off the draft, and then went the rest of the way.
All right.
Not ecstatic about how my running backs landed, but it's fine. I ended up with
overall,
both Jeremiah Love. I ended up with 3rd overall. Chase over
Chase
who?
was. Well, I guess it went Gibbs Bijan then, huh?
Yeah, I went Gibbs Bijan. Ended up with Chase. And then ended up with Malik Neighbors with the 2nd round pick there. And then I flipped back to where I would have been with the 9th overall pick.
Okay.
Starting the 3rd round, which turned out okay. I ended up with both Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price, just with how it shook out. So we'll figure out how this goes.
Yeah, I did a couple mocks where I ended up with those two. I wasn't sure how to feel about it. Well, good for you, man. I haven't drafted yet. I know you had a Jeanty scare. A lot of people did. Turns out it must be a horrible sprained ankle. I don't know how long he's expected to be out, but
huge scare.
To think that he tore his ACL and everyone take a knee and pray. Yeah. Today, though, we are looking at some settings and formats, and we're doing it in a unique way. We have a video out there that kind of goes through different league settings that you should change. You should check it out. But this one, we wanted to do a mock draft of settings. It might be cool. It might be real weird. It might be both. But we are going to be able to draft our settings that we like the most. For example, if somebody drafts no kickers, the other person is stuck with kickers. So does kickers go 101 between the two of us? So you'll see how that works, and we'll see what our teams look like. But we'll be talking about some of the settings and decisions that we make along the way, and what we would probably rather have in our ideal league. But we'll have that, and then we'll also have a Commissioner Corner coming out this week, and then soon we'll do our bold predictions coming up, which I'm excited to do. And I don't think we've ever done an official, like, I don't know what we call it, because I think My Guys is taken, but that type of thing where we select 2 or 3 players that we are going to be ride or dies on for. Maybe that's it, a ride or dies for this season, and stake our name on.
I think ride or die is taken as well, but we figured
is it probably every variation?
Yeah, ride or die is out there. I feel like what we're doing right now is going to really live up to us owning the Fantasy Football Lab moniker and the nerd level that we go. Drafting league types wasn't on my bingo card, but I'm down. Let's do it.
I like doing all the stuff that is like traditional fantasy football with you, because those are the conversations we have anyways. But then this is where I think, like you said, when I told you what we were doing is like the niche of the niche. I like talking about different league formats, different settings, and how to throwing in the slogan "Brew Better Leagues." How do we get like better leagues? How do we handle difficult decisions in the leagues? How do we change settings and keep them modern and don't end up with a standard league or something like that when PPR is now the new standard? So we're going to look at all the things that make up fancy football.
Fancy football.
So fancy.
Ooh, so fancy.
I don't think I saw you go pinkies up there, bud.
I didn't. I should redo it. We'll do it next time. That's entirely on me. My apologies.
Did not understand the assignment.
No, I did not. All right. So we got Nate going first. I'm on the right. We've got a list categorized here. We got some different scoring settings that we can do, roster construction settings, some things about the draft itself, and about the league as a whole. Now, that being said, we're going to have 8 rounds. So we pick 8 of these, 16 total, and there's 29. So not all of them have to be chosen. And we can kind of talk about maybe what we would have picked next. But we have 8 each, and some of them will be the inverse. So if you choose PPR, then one of mine that doesn't count for one of my turns, unless it does and I made a mistake, would be a standard. So with the 101 of your building your league draft, Nate, who or what are you selecting?
All right. So going through this, I think I just have to go there because it'll just to give me the forum to talk about it. Though this may, if I were setting up a league today, it wouldn't be the thing that I start with, but I'm going to have to go with you have to have kickers. Kickers are going to be a part of this conversation because that's what we're doing. You want me to tell you why? Because I'll tell you why.
Wait, you're going yes on kickers?
Yes on kickers.
Okay. So that didn't even hit I don't even have an option for yes for kickers. It was just no kickers because I thought no one would want to choose kickers. That's how much I hate it.
This is, okay, fine. Then this is not gonna have to not count as a pick. But
you could choose your next one, and then I'll choose no kickers.
And then I can soapbox. As long as you're going to give me a forum to soapbox, I'm a soapbox.
Yeah, soapbox it. Why do you like kickers?
We'll talk about it. But, all right. So if it's not going to be kickers.
No. Tell me why you like kickers. I hate you a little bit for this one.
I know. I understand. But here's my thought process now. Because we've swung the pendulum too far. And if we are standing on the ground of saying that we want fun and less predictable leagues, things that make them goofy, make them funny, make them enjoyable and less predictable, I think we have to swing back to the kicker. However you feel about the position in the game of football, kickers have the highest variable of performance, right? And so you don't know how it's going to land any given week. They are going to be determinants of whether or not your game is won because they're going to be the highest. Sometimes they're the highest scoring players in the league.
Just garbage.
Or sometimes, depending on the offense that you pick, I like the unpredictability of it. They're a part of the game, therefore they should be a part of fantasy. Now, we can have the argument of getting rid of kickers in real football.
Yeah,
and when we do that, then we can have the argument about taking them out of fantasy.
Well, we wouldn't have the argument to be off. Okay, so I have more of an argument with your premise. I don't think the wacky unpredictability is the key to fantasy football. I think it's got all of that baked in already, even with predictable outcomes. But there's so many of them. That's why parlays almost never hit. It's because there's so many things you've got to get right. And having a position that is so extraordinary in how up and down it is, and then you have these superstars that are like the number ones almost scoring in the league for a year that someone drafted in the 13th round. It's not like, oh my God, this amazing value, a Puka came out of nowhere and they're going to be a star. It's like, no, that kicker is just like, it's not even them that's doing it for the most part. Their team just said, we're going to kick this time. And the other team said, we're not going to kick this time. We're going to go on fourth. So lost a little respect. What's your actual choice then? I'm so upset. I feel like you just did it to make me mad.
That's neither here nor there.
We were there together for so long on this one.
Were we though? Okay. The one thing I will say and have to stand on is the median scoring. So I'm going to go median scoring here.
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't take that one. Okay. Tell the people what it is.
All right. So for median scoring, if your league's not doing this, get on board. This is the best way you can fight the situation that happens year in and year out, where you've got the two best scoring teams in any given week, someone having to take a loss, or the two worst scoring teams play each other and one of them gets to get a win. It adds an extra game to every week for all of the players where they're competing against the league median. And so if you beat the league median, you are adding an extra win to your column. And if you are below the league median, even if you win your game, you take an extra loss. And that helps to battle out folks that had an easier schedule or folks that had a harder schedule, and really like evens the playing odds as we look to our rankings going into the playoffs. So I like having the league median as a part of the overall scoring, because it gives you a little bit more of that fairness level in the game.
Okay. I like that one a lot. And most people who have been the biggest haters of this in our leagues, when they first went out and we just said, let's just try it, that they ended up having like they came around on it pretty well, where they ended up really liking that one and added it to their leagues for a lot of them too. I think it makes it more fun because you're paying attention to all of the games that are going on. And once you're maybe you lost for the week, or even when you won, you're still paying attention to what else is going on in that league and how other people's games are going, because it all matters a little bit more. You have something to root for the whole time. All right. So I'm going to give, I was having trouble finding it. I need to make sure it's there. I didn't see it. So median scoring is yours. Okay. I'm going to, there's one I really want to take. I'm not going to say it out loud because I don't want you to. I'm going to go half point PPR. I don't mind full point, but I really like the combo of half point PPR with half point for first down, because a lot of times that full point comes back to the receiver, but it also gives the running back, especially different running backs that maybe don't get as much volume, but they're used a lot to get those onesie, twosie yards that are very hard to get. And they get that first down, it gives them a half point and balances it. But a lone half point PPR, I think I still prefer that over full point. Definitely over standard, which you are stuck with.
Oh, I don't get the option to have full point PPR since you took half point. It's just I get
that's
standard.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's rough.
And then I'll also say, I think I added 2 QB, which I'm going to have you select. And we'll just say that's, or not 2 QB, 2 kicker. And I will just say that that's the 1 kicker choice. Because I guess
you added a 2 kicker option?
I didn't. It didn't actually. Never mind. I didn't, but it did. All right.
That's fine.
What's your preference there? Do you like full point or half point?
No, half point makes sense. And I like the layer that we've added in recent years with the half point for the
first downs.
The first downs. Yeah. Because you think about the Derrick Henrys and more recently you got like the Keyshawn Judkins type players that don't catch a lot of receptions, that are running the ball a lot and kind of the pounders. And you just watching full point PPR, some of these guys going off, like the Christian McCaffreys and the back of the day, the Austin Ecklers, like how when I remember when like PPR was first starting getting popular and the switches were starting to happen and becoming the new norm. That was when like Austin Eckler was going off. That's when some of those players were doing it. And they were like fantasy rock stars, and there has to be a balance because it's swinging back the other way.
Yeah, totally.
And then you're finding this other thing. You think about like the Jalen Hurts of the world that are also the ones that are getting that first down rushing, and now they're getting in that extra 0.5.
Yeah,
so
I don't like that
layers
part
here, but
yeah, the half also for the half per rushing first down, that'll be for our purposes. We'll do half point first down. We'll consider this not just rushing.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think since you took that, we've already talked about it ad nauseum, but that's probably where I would have went anyway. The half point first down.
Okay. Cool. All right. This one isn't in anything yet, but I want this so badly. 0.025, it doesn't have to work exactly like this, but just matches what a quarterback's yardage is for defensive pass interference for the receiver that causes that pass interference. The yardage goes away, it disappears, everyone moves up the field, and then no one gets that at all. And it also takes skill to be able to draw that flag, because a lot of times it is skills based how it came about. So I don't think that it should be a full equal to yardage as if they had caught it. So either like a 0.5 flat rate, like 0.5 per pass interference caused, or 0.025, which would, I think, be my preference per yard that you got for the pass interference. It would not go to quarterbacks, but it could go to quarterbacks. But in this one, it would be going to the receiver. So that's what I'm choosing there. I want them to add it so badly.
Yeah, we talked about this genius idea in a past episode for sure. And it's just something, yeah, this is a great idea. Wish I thought of it when we were during my last pick instead of just going with the default there. But yeah, I think that this makes a ton of sense, because so often these pass interference calls are for those long balls that you lose so much fantasy play when it's a 30, 40, 50-yard bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a pass interference call, and no one gets those points. So, yeah, totally on board. And sucks that I don't have it in my league, apparently.
No, do not. You have kickers, though. Don't forget. It's not showing, but we've given you kickers.
Thank you. I appreciate that. They deserve some recognition.
No, they don't. Punt the kickers.
So painful. All right. I think for my next pick, just because we have to talk about it, it's a fun part of, and this is nothing new. It's been around forever, but 2 quarterback leagues. It's got to be a 2 quarterback league for me. I wish all of them were Superflex leagues at this point, because now
2 quarterback or Superflex.
Oh, I think actually I'm a flex it. We'll go 2 quarterback.
Really?
So full. Yeah. So here's my reasoning. There's 32
Auto
teams.
gave me Superflex. I wouldn't have chosen that.
Interesting. So for me, there are so many quarterbacks now. It's so deep that it gives it an extra layer of having to think about and think through about your draft strategy. Like I like being in additional leagues. I wouldn't want this to be my main league, but as one of my extra leagues where I get to think a little bit differently through the draft.
Yeah, sure.
And having to draft that second quarterback, like there are so many good quarterbacks now that they're in a lot of leagues. There's going to be, I think that don't take this as, no, let's make it a hot take. There's going to be at least 4 quarterbacks that are going to be drafted outside of the top 15 that by the end of the year will have QB1 numbers.
Yeah. I think it goes like every year there's an average of 40 quarterbacks or 42 that have a top 12 week or something like that. It's something
I'm
crazy,
saying season long.
Yeah, for sure. If it's the top outside the 15 that jump into, for sure. Yeah, I like the flexibility of Superflex more. I think I don't know if I've done an actual proper full 2 QB. It's just so much more common to have Superflex, but I think I like the 1 QB, but I get the appeal of Superflex. I like just regular league in that respect.
I mean, have you been in a Superflex league where most of the Superflex positions weren't filled by quarterbacks?
Most, but then you got your like injured quarterback or your bye weeks, and you have that flexibility to throw it in, and also allows people, what I like about it is it allows people to construct their team differently. So they could go just higher on the positional players and get that value and have not great quarterbacks and play matchups where they're close enough to that second quarterback that they might throw in one of their other players. So
interesting.
I like the extra choice that it gives people. All right, I'm not going to stick you with auction because I already did that in the real world.
I'm so mad.
I know.
Can I give some context there?
Sure.
It's so. We're in like 7 leagues, 8 leagues, 7, some gross amount of leagues that we're in, and this year previous years we've done like a bingo pull to pull draft number or draft order, but this year we just went with the randomized sleepers in app settings to be able to randomize in every single league. I'm nowhere near the top 3 picks, every single one. In one league, I didn't notice or realize we're doing too many that Senor Love had put us into an auction situation, but in that one league, my name came up with the number 1 next to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming it means I get to do the first
player
bid.
First.
Right. Yeah, I get to propose the first player, but there's no advantage.
And context, in a regular league, I wouldn't just swap how you draft or make that change without more voices. That's a big change. But this is a guillotine league. And we communicate that we try just new things in these extra leagues is to test out some features before we bring them to the new one, or to get people interested to try something new. So we get a little weird in those ones. So, because I can already see the comment coming in of like, what a trash commissioner, which might be true, but not for that reason. All right. I'm going to go with, since you stole one of my favorite, more modern settings, median scoring, I'm going to pick one of the more modern ones that we're trying in our 14-team Superflex league this year, which is third round reversal. So what third round reversal is, you get at the first and second round are normal, snake draft. And at the person who drafted 101 then has the, let's say 12 teams, the 312 or 212, and then they don't pick until the 312. It goes back over to the person who's at the end of the draft. So then it continues a regular snake the rest of the time. When looking at the average value of the players, this is where it came from, where there's an extreme advantage at the 101. And I know that person gets that second, third, or the first, second back to back at the end of the first round, but then they have to wait another 24 picks. And the value of where those players are at in the beginning of the round and end of the round for each one, it was kind of figured that after second round, it gives the best balance where there's still an advantage for the people drafting early in the draft. It doesn't give any advantage to the people drafting at the end. It just bumps them up a little bit, but still nowhere near where that people that are at the 101 get. So I think it's confusing when you haven't done it. I think we had it in one of our extra leagues last year to test it out. Maybe it was axed, and half the people, including myself, forgot that was happening. So it's kind of a little jarring, but that's just because it's new. It did help balance the teams a little bit more, and I think it was more equitable. I think that it's just new, so people aren't jumping on as much, but I think it's the most fair, and there's so much data behind it that that's how it should be working if you want something a little bit more balanced. So I like it. Have to give it, I want to see it in this real league that has a little bit more consequences to kind of see how I like it at that level. But I think it just makes too much sense to me. Oh, I poured this way too high.
Way to balance. Yeah, I'm going to withhold judgment because I just don't know. Like you said, I think I didn't realize it when we were doing it last year. I will say this is one of our real leagues, quote unquote, that we're doing this in. And it's a Superflex 14 league team, a 14 team league, which is already wild. So
yeah, and when I was looking at the difference between 14 team, 10 team, 12 team, and how much the median system, if it's fair or not, basically in Superflex versus non-Superflex, it's even better and helps balance. And then in 14 team, it's even more necessary because the disparity between this was the league of the real leagues to bring it into first and see what people think. All right.
We'll see how it shakes out.
What's your pick?
All right. So just because I got to do this. Oh, wait. So for draft pick trading, are we saying within the draft that we're sitting, or like draft picks for like
you can trade draft picks for future years? I think that's a little dependent on what type of league format you have and
Gotcha. I was thinking of that more in within current draft.
Within current draft would be cool if there's a better way to do it. This one's referring to future.
Got it. Yeah, we had that. So backstory that just happened in the draft that I did yesterday, where we traded draft picks within the draft, but then we had to have a gentleman's agreement to execute said trade at the end of the draft.
Yeah.
Which made it a little awkward for everyone that was in the draft.
Yeah, I think if it's within, it makes more sense for more leagues. Then you have to really trust the people you're with, and that they won't leave and all that.
I think I'm just going in with one that I believe has made our system a little bit better is the FAAB waivers. So
I was about to scroll away hoping you didn't actually pick that one.
Yeah, so FAAB waivers is where you have to go, because if you're not doing this already, the traditional waiver system, just like in real life drafts and real life scenarios, middle of the road teams get screwed.
Let's pause here. FAAB is free agent acquisition budget. It is the budget that you have to be able to spend on a player off the waiver wire. The other and the original is that you put in reverse ranking of, I think, the standings. So just like you would do reverse ranking for draft positions, if you do that in your league, that's what it would be like for the waiver priority. So it's a priority versus FAAB is you have a budget, and then it relies on priority as a backup, or if you have no money left.
Yeah, and what I like about that is that you get a budget for the entirety of the year. So you have to make a decision pretty early on. Let's say there's a Bijan Robinson injury, or someone gets hurt that was your rock star, your number one overall pick. A lot of people have the opportunity to bid into their handcuff, but you only have so much to spend. So you have to make a decision on what percentage of your overall budget you'd be willing to spend for any given player every given week, which makes it a lot more fair to make those decisions throughout the year, versus having to depend on your overall ranking, especially early in the season.
I forget how you do it. I go pretty aggressive, and by week 2 or 3, I don't have FAAB left usually. I might try to keep 5 or 10 for the end of the year, but I also trade a lot. We allow trading of FAAB, so when I'm making trades, I'll try to recoup some, tiebreakers, throw me 10 FAAB, and then I usually collect almost a season's worth throughout in trades. But the big thing to know with FAAB, if you haven't done it, or if you do it and you're not sure how to use it, the most value you'll ever get from your FAAB, if you do it over a long term and you look at it, it's the early first week, 2, 3. It's a mixture of the unknown. It's more likely that you'll find someone unknown in the first few weeks that is worth it. There is, of course, the handcuff situation, but a lot of times you don't even know who the handcuff really is. The number 2 running back might be the number 2 because they have something different to offer, but when that running back 1 goes down, they bring up the running back 3 to take most of that workload. So you don't really know how that's going to go. And by the mid-season or so, you're already usually rostering those handcuffs that are the high-value handcuffs. The other thing is you have more time that they're contributing to you. So if you are getting the player earlier, then they have many more weeks that they're actually adding value to your team. So the value overall of spending your FAAB in the beginning, I look at as a 2-for-1 priority for me.
Makes sense, but I will, it's fair to say that you're relatively aggressive about a lot of things, because not only are you usually out of FAAB by week 2,
I play to win.
You generally don't have any draft picks in our Dynasty League by the third week of us having draft picks for 3 years from now.
I think it was third day this time. My 2029 picks are gone. I don't know if it was a good trade, though. All right. They just burn a hole in my pocket. All right, so I was going to pick that one. I'm kind of hoping that it didn't. I had one that okay. I like this one a lot.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
So I think it's 80 or 90% of the time, if someone is tagged doubtful, they're out. So there's a couple different ways that people use IR spots. Some people just straight do IR. I like if the player's out. But doubtful is just a communication difference between the team, and some try to stretch it as long as possible so that they think it's going to get some advantage competitively, but we know that they're not going to play. I think I can only remember 1 or 2 times in all of my fantasy football where doubtful, they actually played after being marked doubtful. So I think doubtful should just be counted into your IR itself. I also include suspended in there too. If your player can't play, then they get to go there as just a blanketed rule. So my IR spots in my leagues, the ones we run together, are pretty open in what you could use them for.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to add there. I like that because we run into that so many times. You're just sitting there with a doubtful player on your bench, knowing that you're going to have to replace them, but you can't until 10 minutes before the game. And if it's a Monday night game, that's a problem. Do you have that on here? Is the option to have an IR non-starting replacement that we do?
The auto replace? I didn't put that on there. I thought about it, but that is a good one. I like it. It puts the human element into it.
Yeah, what that does, it's not saying we have in here, but for those that don't utilize it, what auto replace allows you to do is to select if you have a Thursday night player or a Sunday morning player that potentially could get hurt that you have in a starting position, or is the reversed? Someone that is playing Sunday night or Monday night that might get injured or might be IR'd before the game. You have someone that you have to select before they actually play that would replace that player if they get IR'd on Monday night for whatever reason. So you're not scrambling for another backup on Monday nights when there's not going to be any more players left.
Yeah, there's two different ways to do that. It's either that you can set it so they have to play before you're a player. And that's what I like more for my, I think
that's how we've done it. Yeah.
I think that's how we've done it. I think there might be one that we do it where it can be after that player's fully locked. But yeah, I like it because what I'm trying to solve is the 6 a.m., overseas game. Do I really want to make somebody have to wake up at 5:30 to check that their player's playing or not? It's just, or they're going on vacation with their family. They know what they would do if the news comes. So they set it for that variable. We're all living our lives. Let's try to make it a little bit easier for people. So that's why I really like that one. I could go either way on if you let people do it with that player playing after or not, but the setting selected before.
All right. Well, for the sake of doing this, that was a little extra little setting that you can mess with. But one that I didn't realize was a thing, so I'm going to talk about it here, is player championship week in week 17.
I was hoping you would do that because I think that gives me week 18. Maybe I turned it off. I did turn it off because the option is 17 and then I would get 18 or vice versa. And that's like lunacy. No one should ever do their championship week in week 18. I do want to say this. I've met a couple of people, someone that we both know actually well, that believe you should play your championship or believe that week 18 should be a game. Say their name.
Forgive me if you've changed your mind about this because we talked about this 2 years ago, but Nora Paul.
He trolls for fun. I can't believe that that's a real opinion a human has.
Because he also is very passionate about kickers being in fantasy football.
I love him as league mate. He'll never be one of my commissioners.
But the
reason I don't like week 18 is that a lot of teams are going to be sitting some of their best players. And that's not your fault that you chose good players on good teams. And there's already some of that variable in week 17. To put it in week 18 just lunacy. Is crazy.
I know. I was taking a hard stand on it, but you turned it off.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. I did take it off because how dare you try to make me get week 18. But yeah, week 17, I think, is a must. And when they added that week, I even considered at that point, because a lot of my playoffs were 2 weeks at that point, and then we switched to the 3 week. And I considered, instead of switching to 3 week, having championship week in week 16, so that like for sure people will be still in it. But then there's the bye week issues with like the earlier, if you did a 14, 15, 16 or something like that.
And then now you're removing weeks of fantasy football, which at a certain point, you got to not love.
Agreed. All right. So you don't have that. What are you choosing?
Dude, that's like 2 fake outs in a row.
I know. This is a beta. No one's ever thought of this, man. I'm just trying to piece it together.
I think then I'm going to go with the 6-point passing touchdown.
Okay.
I like this, and I don't think we haven't done this in any of our leagues yet, right? Or
no, we haven't.
We just said So I like this idea because now we're talking about finding a ground for the quarterbacks, like adding an extra advantage for folks that aren't Matthew Stafford, like the ones that like aren't runners, but also aren't like having the season of their lives, like Matthew Stafford had a couple years ago or whatever, where he was still able to put up elite fantasy numbers without having to run.
Last year, 42 touchdowns.
Yeah, something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah. MVP.
Yeah, it was last year. Yeah. Oh, was that last year? Holy cow. Turn your brain on, Nate.
Yeah.
I owned a Bennett. I'm trying not to think too much about the Rams offense right now because I'm really bummed out about what's probably and potentially going to happen with Puka. Makes me sad. And disappointed in him as a human being recently. Anyway.
Yeah, same.
But anyway, I digress. But I think there's just so many quarterbacks out there that this would help benefit, but not like overdo it. Like it doesn't overcompensate too much, but it makes the game a little bit more equitable across the board.
Yeah. I think that's the best solution for right now of the settings that are available. My pick is going to be, and I just realized that it counted those 2 autos that I get, so I only get 2 more picks. So I'll say my picks after this and I won't be able to select them. But adjusting the QB rushing yards. So I want to be able to, and I think this is a better solution if that setting was there than a 6-point passing touchdown versus 4-point. Oh wait, 4-point is what you're looking. 6-point is what they get, right? Or they get 4-point standard?
They get 4 points today, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm tripping now. All right, so
I'm glad it's not just me today.
Per rushing yard should really be 0.025, which would be their throwing, but maybe you would do 0.05. But I want to be able to adjust the points that a QB gets for rushing yards. So you need a position-specific rushing yard setting. So everything's standard unless you enter in what they would get. And they did something. I'll speak to this, and as you're looking at for your next one, I'll look at Sleeper, because they did select some kind of setting change that I had sent, I think, to you in the group. I forgot what it was, but it was something like this. Anyways, this allows you to nerf some of the probably too aggressive scoring of mobile QBs. You're going to want a Burrow over someone like, I don't know, Burrow might be a tough one, but like Goff you would probably want over someone who's a good rushing one that is not like elite.
Malik Willis. I'm kidding.
I almost said that actually. But the fact that like a middle tier quarterback arm-wise and actually for a franchise could be one of the top because they run and their throwing's not good, and that is out of whack a little bit. I don't mind the rushing quarterback piece, but I think that it kind of does a disservice to the true pocket quarterback. I think it was a bigger deal like 5 years ago to 8 years ago. And then it's becoming more common now that there's mobile QBs that are high profile mobile QBs. So I think maybe my argument's going away from it a little bit because it is how the NFL is treating them and valuing them a little bit. But I still would like the ability to customize that so pocket QBs get a little bit more love. And so whatever your yardage is almost similar. Maybe you get a little bit more for running. All right. What is your next as I try to find this setting that they just added in Sleeper, our preferred platform?
Here, I think something that I don't believe is in there, or potentially is, at least not for all the positions, though, I don't think, is the yardage mileage bonus. Yardage milestone bonus.
Yeah.
I dig on this because, at least for your running backs, we're not seeing the 100-yard rusher as often. And so it's cool to bonus that out as that's out there. And then I didn't even think about the extra considerations for what you had in there for quarterbacks and wide receivers. But yeah, I think I would feel differently about this if we were talking about doing the yard milestone bonus in addition to the rushing first down bonus. I feel like this is kind of one or the other, because then that kind of double benefits your running backs.
Yeah, you could swing too far if you're trying to fix it in multiple ways.
Right. So I wouldn't do it in conjunction, but I like the idea that if this is your solution to making up for your workhorse running back. Workhouse. Wow.
Do you?
Well, you got to stick with morning podcasting, because this is rough.
Agreed. One, I didn't know on the side here, I didn't know the first down bonus you can do per position now. I don't know if that's new this year. So you can avoid giving your quarterback that first down bump if you want it just for your other players.
I like that.
I saw something I have to find later. It was a reception bonus, which is just for it's basically premium. So you could keep reception bonus. You could keep the reception bonus and then do for wide receivers at 1 point PPR, and probably do the same thing for rushing first down. So that you could still have full PPR and then have that rushing bonus too. Anyways, I didn't find what I was looking for, but they did add something customized with quarterback there that I've got to go find. All right, let me see. I got one more pick because 2 of these were auto. I'm gonna say, even though I already got it by default from you, I just want as my last pick that I'm allowed to take to be no kickers, and I'm gonna stand on that, which gives you kickers, but it didn't actually add the kicker to your thing too. I'm kind of getting screwed. All right, what do you see picking?
Let's see here.
You also don't have to finish it. If there's not something you're not forced to take and fill it all out.
Yeah, I don't feel like there's another thing here, but there's something worth discussing here because I just experienced this again. This is from personal life, but bench size, man. Just consider one thing to think about as you're going through and creating your leagues. Not just for the selfishness of not wanting to sit in a draft for 2.5 hours, but also the more bench players that you have, the less activity you're going to get week to week from your league, especially if you're thinking about the demographic of your league. If you've got folks that don't play a ton of fantasy or aren't as big nerds as myself and Arlen here, don't have super deep benches because they're just not going to get involved. They're not digging through that. No more than 6 bench spots. Dependent on the size of your rosters. 6? I'm going to say no more than 6.
Yeah,
right? So 4 is probably a good if you're going 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, single flex, position standard league, 4 bench spots. Leave
Really?
it leaves players out there for folks, for your fair weather fantasy players that are out there. If you're in a little bit more of an advanced league, yeah, go 6 bench spots. You're probably playing with 2 flexes. You're probably in a 3 wide receiver league. People know the names of the 3rd wide receiver on the Browns, for instance. Then yeah, have a deeper bench. By the way, he's the person that I just said out loud is in the running to be a my guy option.
Who is?
The 3rd wide receiver of the Browns.
Boston?
Yeah, Boston. If he's in the running, I didn't say he's picking.
All right. Even with Watson?
Yeah, that's what I
mean, it didn't matter. They both suck.
Yeah, but now I don't want to root for him to do well.
Let's see if it lets me select this. I'm really actually wanting to select no divisions. All right, it did let me go over that. So those autos weren't bad. Yeah, I would do no division. I think I'm becoming a fan of no divisions. It used to be something more than I don't miss them. I haven't missed them when they're gone. Like, it is kind of nice to like, Andy's in my league. I don't want to trade with him. And it does add some of that element. So I'll see how it feels. I've removed him from our Clee Debate one, and I'll see how it feels. And I'm happy to put him back if people really miss it. But I think it's also a good way for us to test for the Dynasty. I feel like that should probably be no divisions as well. How do you feel about divisions? Are you on the no division or division side?
I'm on the no division side.
Yeah.
Just, I think the benefit of it's got, and then like in Dynasty, like I was trying to break it down, myself and the probably perennial favorite to win the league this year are in the same division. So how the playoffs shake out, the way we were looking at it, kind of guarantees you a seat to the playoffs, seat to the championship.
Me?
Yeah, I think so. The way the divisions shake out.
I could play against you though, right? Or one of you guys.
No, I think you end up playing I think me and him end up playing each other.
I think it reseeds after each round, remember?
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay.
I would love to not play you guys until the championship. That'd be awesome. He might quit if he doesn't get to the championship this year. And I do, or you do.
I think half the league will quit if you do or I do.
That's true. All right. So overall, we've got reception. You get standard. You try to balance that out with with what was it? Tight end. Oh, you did. No, there's no tight end premium. Oh, it selects everything, no matter if you actually interacted with it or not. Yardage milestone bonus. You did 2 quarterback, not Superflex. 4 bench spots, and that one I would assume you'd probably go up to 6 because you also chose 2 half kickers. Median scoring, FAAB waiver. I got half point PPR. I'd probably actually have chosen regular. Half point PPR for the Superflex. I would have chosen regular. 4-point passing touchdown. I like that. I don't know. I don't think it's the right thing to balance out to try to fix that QB thing, but it's probably the best thing right now. I would love customizable quarterback rushing yardage, points per yard. I got the fun stuff that doesn't exist. The defensive pass interference yardage. No kicker. IR accepts doubtful. 3rd round reversal. And I would have actually chosen no divisions. I was just testing that out. But a lot of the stuff that you had to, I think there's only a couple differences between what you like and I like. The 4-point versus 6-point. Full 2 QB or Superflex for you. And I think I like standard. I like a 6 bench spot, but I get the appeal. And then the kickers, we lost our friendship on.
I just enjoy taking stands I don't necessarily fully believe in to see how you feel about them.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Well, that was fun. There's definitely some changes to make on this thing, but I thought it was kind of fun way to talk about these different settings. If there's any ideas you guys have on these non-traditional mock drafts, it might be fun to do one of like, which one of our next topics is of like just different things that are tough for commissioners this time of year, of like trying to, paying dues on time as one of the things that you can, like getting the dues from everybody on time you can draft, or league mates that communicate in chat, trade heavy league. You can probably draft like these kind of qualities that we like within our football. I should have done democracy or dictatorship as one of the options here too. That might go for the next one there. That's just the commissioners draft.
We'll just do commissioners corner draft.
League. Yeah. We'll do that
draft.
soon.
I like that.
I'll put something together for that. That'll be fun. All right, man. Well, as always, good chatting with you. And every single comment down below has been responded to. But I do have to say, we're getting a decent amount of listens on Apple Podcasts and some other podcasts, and I don't know how to check the comments yet there. So we were doing YouTube almost exclusively for this whole time and just started kind of sharing it out to those other platforms. So if you aren't listening to us on YouTube and watching, then my bad if I don't respond. But on YouTube, we've responded to every single one so far. All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Hmm.